it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, and happy New Year's Eve. Sorry this is a bit of a late post. I had a bit of a lie-in this morning and I had meant to post something ready to go live today, and you know, I haven't even finished doing my nails, so there we go. I will later be going all ready for the new year. So I thought I would put together a card that uses some items that are carrying over, some items that are not, but things that are all still available on the inventory list. One of the advantages of filming just before I post is that I can see what's on the inventory list, certainly as far as the UK is concerned. So I am using the All Is Bright paper pack, which is still available and is gorgeous, and there are so many patterns that are not just for Christmas, so do have a look at that. I'm also using the Merry Christmas to All dies and stamps. So this is a bundle. The dies and the stamps are carrying over, but they will not be a bundle when they carry over. So if you want to get them with 10% off, now is the moment to do it. So please don't miss out on that. I'm also using the Making Christmas Bright. This again is part of a bundle and comes with the bulb builder punch, which uses these little bulbs here and the little wire there. So, but obviously you can punch them out of just plain card as well. So another reason for using that is, as I say, because it is carrying over but is a bundle at the moment. So if you want to get this and the punch, then please, please, please get it before the end of the 2nd of January. And do remember to use my host code, which is in the description bar below. And that way you get to take part. Actually, today's the 31st. I'm going to put 2 host codes below. I'm going to put the December and the January host code because I will be closing off the December host code later today at about 4 o'clock. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, this is another bundle, so do please get that before the end of today, before the end of the 2nd of January if you want the bundle price. So it's basically a really straightforward card. All I've done is cut designer series paper and done some heat embossing. Oh, and the other thing that I'm using is the All Is Bright paper clips, and these are still available and are very heavily discounted. Some of the other items are heavily discounted as well, but those I know are. So, as I say, really straightforward card, so let's get it done. My paper is cut at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 and 5 by 3 1/4. I will have the dimensions on my blog, which is linked immediately below, and it will take you straight to today's blog post. And my blog posts are now dated. I'd forgotten that they didn't have dates, but they now do. So hurrah. I've got a basic Whisper White card base, so half sheet of A4 scored down the middle, and that will be folded to make an A6 card. That is our standard card size and the size that fits our lovely, smooth, beautiful envelopes, which are just to die for. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick the designer series paper, the first layer, onto my card base so that that's done and out of the way. Because knowing me, I will cover it up with something, and that means I've got 2 things to lose rather than just one. So, and as I say, a very plain, you know, usable, non-Christmas colour on the reverse side, which is the side I'm using, and that's in shaded spruce, and it's a nice mottle. This is the lovely bokeh print, and we are going to be heat embossing on that. So, Versamark embossing buddy. First thing to do is use your embossing buddy, and while I'm at it, I'm going to bring in a piece of just standard Whisper White card, and again I'm going to pop embossing buddy over that so that that's already done. I'm going to use, actually I'm going to use the circle first. Now, the Making Merry Bright, this lovely circle with stars and dots. My recommendation with all fine, I'm trying to think of a word to describe them, fine dies, sorry, not dies, stamps in photopolymer is to make sure you let them relax. So, for example, this one if you don't let it relax before you pick it up with your block, you may have a kink in it, which is not a great idea. It's not quite so bad with the photopolymer if you're not die cutting, but if you're using a matching die, you really need to make sure that your photopolymer stamp has suitably relaxed. So, having put embossing buddy all over our background, let's now just stamp. And all we're doing is forming a kind of background for where we're then going to put our sentiment. And it doesn't matter whether these are all in the same direction. You can twist your wreath stamp a little as you go. Then grab my embossing powder, and this is gold embossing powder, because the idea of this is that it's a New Year's card. So we've got wishing you peace and love all year long is the sentiment that we're going to be using, and then of course happy as the main die cut. So again, just ink up your stamp and pop it down and dabble that in embossing powder. Now you don't have to put your embossing powder in a tub, but I do find it's easier, particularly at classes, to have it in a nice big tub, so there's some hope that the embossing powder stays in one place rather than gets all over the place. But you can just pour it from the pot and then have it onto a scrap piece of paper that you can then pour it back into the pot. So, trusty cheese board time. I'm going to do the card first, because when we come to the paper we really need to make sure that the heat gun is hot, because it will have a tendency to curl. So by doing the card first, we know that it will be hot by the time it gets to the paper. So here we go. Sorry about the noise, nothing I can do about that. To turn the volume down if you want. I love watching this. It's just so special. So that's that done. Ooh, hopefully that will stay there for 30 seconds while I take that off and pop this in. Now, one of the advantages of using a board behind is that the heat does reflect back up as well. So it does tend to take less time, and it also does tend to help keep things a little flatter. But we are going to have to use quite a lot of adhesive to get it really flat. I'm just going to turn that over, and by blasting from the back a little, it does help flatten it all out. So there we go. Right, let's add our paper to the front of our card so that that is done. Make sure that is, yeah. You can actually, if you touch the heat embossing too soon after you've done it, you can smudge it because it is wet for a wee while. And then add lots of adhesive to help keep the paper flat. And then pop that in the middle of our card, like that. Right, this I am going to die cut with, it would help if I could find the die. Oh, there we are, I tidied it away. This is one of the labels from the Merry Christmas label dies, and it fits very nicely round the wishing you peace and love all year long, and enough space there for my star paperclip. So I'm just going to run that through the big shot whilst, oops, it would help if I could get that straight. Okay, we need a piece of washi tape just to help us. I'm using the magnetic base plate, which works okay, except I've now got a warped bottom plate and I need to change it. It's time for a change. I treat myself to new plates every now and again. Just because they don't break doesn't mean they shouldn't be replaced, and I will show you what I mean in a moment when I die cut this. So this is my current base plate, and I don't know if you can see, it's a bit bent. If I pop it there, you can see that it's wobbly. So what I will do is I'll throw that away, and this is my top plate. I'll make this the base plate. Although this isn't perfectly flat, it's a lot better than the one I've got. So that's what I do. I just keep rotating. So I always have a clean top plate, which is the one that has the paper facing it, certainly the way I do the sandwich. So it's quite nice to have a clean top plate, so you get a clean die cut. I have already cut a piece of foil out of with the same die, and then I'm just going to layer those up like that. So more adhesive. So I hope you've got lots of lovely plans for the new year. I obviously am looking forward to Celebration, and do remember that Celebration is the best time to sign up to join my team, because you get extra product. So instead of £130 of product, you get 170, and then you can upgrade your kit to include the lovely Craft and Carry tote, which is currently only available for demonstrators, and only available for demonstrators until the end of the 2nd of January, and then it will no longer be available to existing demonstrators and will only be available in the kit. So yeah, and if we buy it, it's £47, but if you pop it in your starter kit, you will get it for, I want to say 27. I know it's a discount and I can't remember the exact figures. Right, okay, so let's take a bit of edge. That much, I think. I will need to add some additional dimensionals, but I always like to try and use up edge particularly when I'm doing something that's sort of square and sort of longer. So we'll then pop another one there. In fact, we could put a mini in the middle, couldn't we? Probably. Yay! Love it when a plan comes together. Okay, so let's take the backings off those. Pop those in my little bin. So I have got a few posts in mind for what you could put in your starter kit, because I know a lot of people go, I don't know what to put in, and it can be quite difficult for existing demonstrators to recommend product, because it really depends on what you've already got. So I've got a few sample starter kits that I'm putting together that are kind of dependent on whether you have nothing, whether you've already got quite a lot of stuff, whether you want to run classes straight off the bat, which is not something you have to do. You can just be your own and only customer if that's what you want. But if you want to make it into a business like me, then I thought it would be useful to think about how you could run a class instantly. So I used the multi-purpose adhesive sheet on the back of the die cut, because then it just becomes a sticker, and it's really easy to die cut the foil and the sticker as one. Not so easy to then stick a foil piece down. And there you go, it's as simple as that. So, thank you very much indeed for joining me again today. Sorry I'm a bit later than usual. These things happen, I am only human. If you've got any queries or comments, please do be in touch. If you've got any questions about joining my team or Celebration generally, because Celebration is when everyone gets free stuff, whether you shop, host or join, £45 or multiples thereof will get you free Celebration products. If you spend £200 or more, you get an extra £20 of rewards, and that can either be just you as one big order, or you can host a party. Please be in touch if you'd like to host a party. We can do those either face-to-face or on a Facebook group. And then if you join, as I say, you get an extra £40 of product, plus you get your business kit, plus you get free postage, all for £99, and then you can add the craft and carry tote onto that kit if you so desire. Thank you very much indeed. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe and would like to, it's just there. Please do leave a comment. I always get back to comments. I'm a little behind at the moment, but we're getting there. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.